Hello and welcome to the Energy Forecast 2022. And over the course of January, I'm going to be interviewing 9 experts on the energy of 2022. So you can get a free workbook. You can see the link here. Please go to this link and you can sign up for a free workbook about the energy of 2022. Every single expert that I interview, I'm asking them to give me an exercise of something you guys can do and integrate into your lives to make 2022 the most amazing year ever. So go to that link, sign up for your free 2022 energy workbook. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. From the 7th of January, we're going to be having 9 experts, astrologers, numerologists, shamanic practitioners. I'm going to be talking about the Akashic Records. We're going to have lots of different experts discussing the energy of 2022 and how you can utilize this energy to have your best year yet. So hello and welcome to the Energy Forecast 2022. My third gift. It's because you are such a gift, Nicholas. My third guest is a gift to me and the world. Nicholas Haines, welcome to the Energy 2022 forecast.
Oh, thank you so much, Aloise. Lovely to be here.
Nicholas is one of my oldest and dearest friends, and we've just been chatting about how all the lives we've had together.
Yeah.
We've known each other quite a while, haven't we?
A long time.
He is one of my nearest and dearest. And Nicholas, would you be so kind, for the benefit of our lovely audience, would you be so kind as to just tell them a little bit about the incredible, amazing work that you do?
Oh, I'll try and do it justice. So I head the 5 Institute, and the 5 Institute, we're all about internal and external cultures. How do you live with yourself? How do we live together? And then I use the 5 energies from Chinese philosophy, use those to help work out who we are, our relationships, how the world's working, how to make sense of things that don't make sense. What else do I do? So I'm a kindness ambassador. So until 8 o'clock at night, and then I turn into a right piece of work. But that gives me some time off from being nice to people. Then I've written 2 books, co-creator with Runas Magna's daughter of the No More Boxes movement.
Fantastic.
Which is a wonderful thing to be doing. And yeah, written books, lots of different things.
As you can see, Nicholas is a man of many talents. But the particular talent that we are honing in on here today is the fact that he is an expert in Chinese medicine. And he obviously understands the energy of Chinese medicine and how that relates to the energy that we're living into in this year. So you are very famous, actually, Nick, for your forecasting, as in your Chinese medicine forecast. Every year tell the audience, because I listen to it every year. It's incredible.
Yeah. So every year I kind of look at the energy of that particular year, look at the element that it is, the animal it's associated with, and then look at it within the context of the phase of the world that we're living in. So we've got massive, big cycles going on. We've got the big change in spirituality, a big change in consumerism, big change in geopolitics. And those really slow cycles don't change very often, as in like hundreds of years, they don't change. And we just happen at the moment to have 3 of the biggest cycles all trying to change from one energy into the next energy at exactly the same time.
No wonder it's messy.
Yeah, it's kind of, there's an awful lot going on. And I've looked back kind of thousands of years and I can't see where we've had this, all 3 trying to change at the same time. So it's a big thing. So we're kind of all sitting in the middle of that big change that's kind of going on. And then you can narrow it right down to and say, okay, well, this 12-year block of time has a certain energy as well. It's trying to do something. And we're in the equivalent of the 1960s, so we're equivalent of 1962. So the 12-year block of time exists within 60 years. And then if we look at the individual energy of the year, within the context of the 12 years, the 60 years, the big cycle, you can go, okay, I get what's going on. And the most important thing is I kind of say, these are just the things you've got to do. And if you do these things, you will.
So you take all of that stuff and you make it really simple.
Basically. Yeah. It's a lot going on, but you try and just make it simple. And you say, okay, these are just a few things you need to do.
And that is one of the beauties of your work, actually. If people haven't heard of Nick, well, please go and check out his work, because it is incredible. We use the profiling system that you developed within our Dharma program, because you do exactly that. You take a complicated subject and make it so simple and practical for the individual to be able to integrate into their life. So would you mind just sharing with us, so what are the 3 areas? You mentioned there's 3 areas that are changing all at the same time. Would you mind just letting us know which one?
So we've got the area of spirituality is changing. We've got the whole thing around, I call it consumerism, but it's basically our bartering, our buying and our selling and our things. And the other one is kind of geopolitics is changing as well. If you just kind of look at geopolitics with one, that's moving from fire energy into earth energy. We've been in the kind of fire energy is about love. It's about passion. It's about popularity. It's about love me, love me. So our politics has been based around popularity. Hey, I'm popular, love me, love me. And there's promises that all things get made. And fire energy also has something going on around secrets. You kind of have power if you have secrets and you have this and that. But it's basically around popularity. And interestingly, as we kind of got into the last parts of the kind of fire energy, popularity, democracy stuff, we also had it coinciding of social media, which is also about fire. It's also about in the moment and popularity and this and that and do you love me and likes and all this stuff. So it kind of speeded up the deterioration in the appropriateness of democracies as a way to govern. And so what we're looking to be moving into is an earth energy style of geopolitics, which is earth energy is about communities, it's about tribes, it's about community, people kind of coming together. So it's why we're kind of seeing the rise in local communities and localized politics of making decisions within communities rather than a big popular democracy, a big popular powerful figurehead.
Just to share with you, so I did an interview with Jane Alton, who's a numerologist.
Oh, right.
First in the series, and she was saying exactly that, but in a different way. She was saying it's all about us taking responsibility and a roots up approach. So how do you want your house to look? How do you want your community to look? This is about bottom up, roots up.
I don't want to put people off this whole series, but I think you'll just hear the same things being said, just from different angles, because it's an ultimate truth, isn't it, that we're having an exploration around geopolitics, consumerism, spirituality. And then we've got these individual years, like we're just about to move into a water tiger year, which is very different than the kind of metal ox year that we've been in. So that gives it kind of their little dimensional steps within this big exploration, which kind of the geopolitics, the consumerism and the spirituality, that's kind of going on over decades or hundreds of years. But we have these individual little years that we get to play out our role and our responsibility, and we get to live our lives within the individual years of the role. Yeah. And ultimately, we get to influence the way that the geopolitics, consumerism, and spirituality evolves for future generations, because we're the people that decide on how it will be.
And what would you say is the benefit? Because obviously we don't have to live into the context of the year, but it's worthwhile doing so, isn't it? Because it's kind of like this is the backdrop or the context for what is going on in our lives. So what is the benefit for somebody listening to this series and integrating the learnings, do you think?
Well, the way I look at it, and I have a monthly membership, and we do something each month called Energy Waves, and we look at the energy of the month. And the reason we do, within the context of the year, within the context of the bigger picture, and the reason we do that is it's a bit like we're all standing on a beach, and there are waves coming of activity, of things coming towards us. It's kind of really nice to know that this wave coming at you is, you better just brace yourself, because it's going to be a big wave, or it might be a little wave, or you might think, actually, I think we might want to move to higher ground just for this experience. Or we might want to, or this one is going to knock me off my feet. But if you're prepared, you know how to get back on your feet. Or other waves, you think, actually, you know what? This is a phenomenal wave. I'm going to surf this one. I'm going to surf it and just have a ball with this one. And most waves, if you understand them, you surf them. And it's actually really, really good fun. I mean, you sometimes get a slam dunk and you go, oh, that was a bit thing. But it's within the context of what you're trying to do. So it's just a matter of saying, look, these are the waves that are coming. What do you want to do? Do you want to surf them? Do you want to drown? Do you want to get knocked over? Do you want to splash? Do you want to...
This is, I suppose, our evolution, isn't it? Because as we become more conscious, as we raise our consciousness, we should be becoming more conscious of utilizing this ancient wisdom in our lives. Yeah.
So currently, as we're recording this, we've got a big wave's gone in and it's coming out, and another wave's coming in. And you stand on a beach, there's a point to which the wave coming back and the wave coming in kind of meet each other, and you stand there and it's almost as though nothing's happening, but you can almost feel the ground just starting to kind of, there's a point of stability as the wave's in and the wave's out, but you can feel almost the ground just being washed a bit from underneath your feet. And for some people, it makes them feel uncomfortable. I can't think of it's disconcerting. It kind of feels like, I can feel things just are kind of pulling away, but isn't it? It's a point of stability to then kind of ground yourself a bit. And some of our ability to enjoy this experience and have a wonderful time to surf is kind of based on our history, what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
So if we look back at previous years, there were certain things that you were meant to do. And if you didn't do them, it's not the end of the world. It just kind of means you've got to either catch up or you've got to. So for example, 2020 was a metal energy year, first of this block of time dominated by metal energy. Metal energy is related to autumn or fall, and that's about things disconnecting, about things letting go. So in 2020, we were being asked to say, okay, what do you want to let go of? What are you going to release? Metal energy is also about disconnection. It's about, or leaves disconnect. So I said in 2019, I said, we're going to have a big phase around disconnection, isolation, loss, letting go. Wow. You don't know what the form it will take. And I actually think someone said, when I was saying about that, do you think it'll be COVID? I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although I was very, very clear as to what would go on. And 2020 was also a rat year, and rats, they hoard things. If they think there's not going to be enough resources.
Toilet paper.
So we had toilet paper, we had hoarding, we had this. Rats are also very kind. So we saw tremendous kindness. They're very resourceful and get on and scurry around and just get things done. So 2020 was a year where we were asked to let go of things. We were asked to adjust. We were asked to, metal energy is also working out what it is that you value and your own value. So we had all those experiences. Actually, I really value being at home, or I really value this, or recognizing your own value. But there was also the hoarding and the scurrying around. Rats, when they get backed into a corner, get a bit attacking. So we saw right at the end of that rat year, in January 2021, we saw all the rats go like that. But rats are really kind of kind and resourceful creatures. So, but they're very resourceful. So in some level, 2020 was an easier year to deal with because we had all the resourcefulness of the rat. We then move into 2021, and we then have the metal ox year. So still the loss, the disconnection, the working out what you value and what's valuable to you. We had all that stuff. But oxes were far more ploddy. So it was a very ploddy year. So if you thought, I'm really going to get on now and get things done and move on and let's fresh start, and thank goodness for the end of 2020, let's get going with, and it turned into this year of
it was slow.
And I was reading part of a group and they were saying, oh, it was such a frustrating year. I just wanted to get on. And I said, well, it wasn't a year to get on. It was a year to plod and to plant. And I said we did a podcast there. I said, you just need to kind of plod along, keep in your lane, plant, prepare the ground, stuff will come up, but just plod along and don't get caught up in the drama of everything. So those were those 2 years. So if you didn't let go of stuff, if you didn't work out what you value and what you don't value, then you have a slightly different experience in 2022. Because if you're going into 2022 is a water year.
Yeah.
And water is related to winter. And in winter, you live with the consequences of your previous actions.
Oh, if you don't plant your seeds.
Yeah, if you don't plant your seeds, you don't look after them, you don't harvest, you don't have much going on. Or you can done all the stuff and you have a much easier time. You planted, you've looked after, you've harvested. It's a fantastic time. So there will be a bit of consequences in this year. Consequences are really good. Oh, I've meditated, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Water energy is also a time to reflect, to learn, to say, I think I might better catch up on that stuff. So
will we be able to get the benefit of, is the water tiger about getting the benefit of the stuff we've planted? Or what you're saying is it could work either way. Either you get the benefit, or if you haven't really done a lot, you've got time to catch up.
You've certainly got time to catch up. 2022 is a transition year. So we're still in transition. So think about winter. As winter is a transition between what's been and what will come. And we've got 2 water energy years. So we've got 2 transitions, in a way, years. And in winter, you have the consequences, good and bad. But water is also about being very resilient. It kind of plods away, you work at stuff. So water energy is also about purpose. So we say, okay, well, what's the purpose? What do I want to do? What do I want to plant in the next season? What do I want to leave behind me? So you think about water as an energy, it creates the Grand Canyon. It's the only energy that leaves its mark on the earth. So these 2 years are about saying, okay, well, am I going to leave my mark on the earth? Are we as a society going to leave our mark on the earth? So we've got that going on. So it is a tremendous time to, in a way, you can think that the last 2 years are working about what do I value, what matters to me. These next 2 years are kind of more about an investment. What do I want to invest in with what I value in order to then create what I want to have? So it's that kind of, this is what I value, or this is my value. This is what I want to invest. This is what I want as my outcome. And that's what I'm going to do. Preparation
year.
Very.
Well, that's interesting because that's obviously what it master builder, master architect. It's all about laying the foundations of what we want to then have come into fruition.
Yeah, we've got some brilliant support for that. The water energy is about fear, and it's also about being fearless. So we have the ability to, and it's actually about trying to get that right, because you can be full of fear, and that's a big problem, or you can be utterly fearless, and that's a big problem. So it teaches you the point at which it's really good. Because if you were fearless and you kept saying, I don't care about cars, I'm going to run across the road. Oh dear, that didn't work out well. Or if you just spend your whole time on the edge of the road saying, I can't cross the road, I can't cross the road. Well, there is a point at which there is a balance. Yeah. There's a point at which, and that's what these years are teaching us. And then we have a massive, big support going on in this year as we step into that water energy purpose, how we want the world to be. And that's a tiger. And tigers are courageous. They're brave. They're regal. They're able to have that power to support you to step into whatever it is that you're going to do. They're not sheep. They're tigers. They're kind of, come on, everybody. Let's be kind of. So we've got the support of the tiger. They're cheerful. They're optimistic.
If this is the year, say someone's listening, I'm just thinking about our audience, they're listening to this and they know where they want to go, it sounds to me like this is the year to really forge ahead, because you've got the backing of the tiger.
Yeah.
And it's there to support you to really go forward and be brave and fearless in what you're wanting to create within reason.
Yes, within reason. Because water energy is also about reserves and resources. So whatever you do needs to be within the context of your reserves and your resources to do it.
Ah, yes.
So again, it's that point of balance. So
that's very, because I'm interviewing you and I'm thinking about this in the context of my own life. And I know one of the things I've got to be careful of this year is burnout, because I've obviously the fire, but particularly so, making sure that I'm creating what I want to create, but I'm not to the point where I completely run myself into the
yeah. So we all have different energies within us, and you can take the vitality test to find out the balance of your energy. I
recommend that you do it. It's incredible. You changed my life, Nicholas. I'm not even joking.
Oh.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think, you were very instrumental in me understanding myself, and then understanding all my weird and wonderful foibles, so I didn't keep burning myself out, which was a regular trick of mine. Highly recommend it. If you haven't done it, we'll put the link below. Make sure you go and check it out, because it's absolutely life-changing. So thank you for that. That's your legacy, one of your many legacies.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And while we're talking about it, you have totally, as you know, totally changed my life in terms of what you introduced, the people you introduced me to, with that lovely fire energy of yours.
Not over yet.
Not over yet.
There's more to go, I can tell you.
Oh, more to come. Wonderful. So if we look at the energy of the year, the energy of the context it's sitting in, then you look at your own energy and you say, okay, well, what do I need to step into in terms of my own energy? So we're just talking, let's say, about your fire energy. You've got to watch that there's no drama. You've got to keep the drama down low. And it's internal drama as well as external drama, because one of the things that happens as we're in these transition years, moving to something very different, people that don't want different will often create dramas so it's like you're with someone and you're about to tackle them on something and you want something different. And they go, oh, I can't talk about it now. I've got this going on. I've just had this. Oh my goodness. And you can't have a conversation about what you want to have a conversation about, because they're all in the drama about it. Or wood energy is about stuckness and stubbornness, and the emotion is anger and irritation, or they just get very angry with you when you're trying to change, or when you're trying to talk about change. Don't talk to me about that. I don't want to talk about it. Like that.
It's my dad.
People do that. And then I think this is a really, really, really important one for 2022. And that is because we've come out of 2 metal energy years, and we're in a block of time dominated by metal energy, 2 years to start with, 2 years to end with. A quality of metal energy is about simplicity. Less is more. So it's desperate to have simplicity, clean, simpleness. So which is why we've been asked to let go of so many things, so we can have a simpler existence. One of the traps within simplicity is going to a black and white view. I'm going to keep it really simple. You're right and you're wrong. Good. That's simple. Good. And it's also about, metal energy is also about perfection. You've got this fault, so you're wrong. So we've had 2 years of black and white polarization of finding fault, what's wrong, what's missing, what isn't right, black and white, simple, you're good, too bad. So one of the really important things that we have to do is we have to, as within ourselves and within our families and our relationships and our society, we have to, it'll be much easier to do. We have to get out of black and white thinking and say, let's actually just talk about this. And water energy is great, because water energy, the form of vision, is about perspective. It gives you, you think about, oh, that's the past, that's the future. You can see a much wider thing. So we've got perspective now we're moving into, instead of black and whiteness.
Right.
But the problem is we get stuck in our habits of ways of thinking. So there is a danger that people get stuck in the black and white thinking and the cross with each other, because I can't forgive you. I can't forgive you for what you said and what you did and how you think like that. So one of the really important things within 2022 is let's just have a peace treaty. Let's all just calm down, chill. No one's right, no one's wrong, no one's perfect, no one's imperfect. And we then move away from black and white and start to have a more grown up, joined up conversation around what really matters. The difficulty is that the media and the newspaper does not like peace and harmony. It likes drama, because drama sells.
Divide and conquer.
It likes division, it likes things. So there will be a lot of external influence trying to keep us collectively in a state of black and whiteness and like this, because when you're like this, all sorts of things can happen under the surface because you're too busy being like this. So the trap will be the drama and the black and whiteness. So there's a number of things you have to do. You have to say, okay, let's just have a peace treaty. Peace treaty. And forgiveness, it doesn't mean, if you forgive someone, it doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean anything, but you can just calm down a bit about it. And the second one is, and we've got the beautiful balance here between the water energy and the tiger, and that's about authority, about power and authority. Who's going to have authority? And I use this example. If I listen to the news in the morning, I have given the news the authority to decide how I'm going to feel. So do things that will give you that sovereign power, the authority of trusting yourself and the authority of you saying, actually, what I choose to do here, thank you for all this noise, thank you for all this stuff. What I choose to do here, 5 Institute, we're about kindness. What we say, we choose to be kind. Let's be kind, let's be nice, let's get on, let's get rid of this. Or I choose to eat well, or I choose to look after myself, or I choose to forgive, or I choose to do this or do that, and not have an external authority that's deciding how you should be, think, exist, etc. And then you get a different sort of consequences in your life. And these years are about consequences. So you get to choose what the consequences will be. So really important that we recognize that we make the choices for our sovereign selves.
Nice.
And we have the courage from the tiger to do it.
So tune out or down outside influences and tune up what you choose.
Yeah, tune up what you choose. Exactly. And remember, within the context of, this is about worked out what you valued the last 2 years, let go of stuff, what are you going to invest in? Imagine investing in the things that make you and society and your world a better place. That's a hell of a good investment.
Interesting. So this is what you were talking about with regards to consumerism.
Yeah. We make some active choices that...
Is that the same energy? So you said that geopolitics was going from fire to earth. Is that the same thing happening within consumerism and spirituality? They're both moving into earth?
No, consumerism is moving from earth into metal. So it's moving from earth to metal. So metal energy is about less is more, but it's also about quality. So instead of having hundreds of cheap t-shirts that destroy the planet within their manufacturing, earth, overwhelmed, swamped by it all, drowning with it all, you just have a few things, but they are just elegantly beautiful, exceptionally quality, perfect. Remember, metal energy about perfection. There's good perfection. You just have a few really nice things as opposed to piles of tat. And our consumerism got very muddled up. Our consumerism should have stayed in an earth energy phase for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. We should have stayed in that earth energy consumerism of a state of harmony and balance but we didn't. We got carried away. We got our fire energy, got overexcited because we were told we could have anything.
Right, I see. Okay, interesting.
And you know, I said this year is equivalent to 1962 in the 60-year cycle. In 1962, in the early 60s, they made decisions around how they wanted the world to be. And what they said was, we're going to have the world will be based on economic growth. And they made a decision that then has played out to this point of we're just going to consume. It's all about the more we can consume, the more we can grow, the more economic output, the more things we have and spend, etc., the better the world will be. And we just have to say, well, how's that
working out?
How's that worked out?
Yeah.
And it's not to do with, it is to do with what happens to our environment, but it's also to do with what happens to our inner environment. Of our houses are full of stuff that we can't find it, and we think, and we're swamped, and etc. And we're holding on to all these things. And again, those last 2 years it'd be interesting if this is on YouTube, people put in the comments, have you had 2 years of clearing stuff out?
Oh my God, so yes.
Yeah, we've just been clearing stuff out.
Yeah.
So and that's what we were asked to do. And as this recording is coming out, we're still in the Metal Ox year.
Yeah.
So have another go, clear a bit more stuff out. You can still do some in 2022. The energy is just slightly different. You can still do it. You're just not in the same energy. So it just is, it's just a bit harder to do. It's been easy to clear out.
Right. Okay, that's a great tip. So if you're listening to this, guys, you've still got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Really make the most of this metal energy. And it's so true. I've been literally, my clothes, my books, my office, everything, like anything that doesn't feel like me anymore just has to go.
Yeah. And it's also clearing out our old stories, our old belief systems, our old things that are no longer of value. Karma. That's a word. And you do the phenomenal work you've been doing in particularly the last couple of years. You've just gone boomf in terms of clear this out, clear that out, karma, spiritual stuff, old belief systems, etc. And it's really important. Don't think you've missed the boat. Right. If you haven't done it now, don't think, oh God, I've missed the boat, because that's a metal energy. Oh, I've missed out. There's no fear. It's just kind of easier to do it in metal energy years. Whereas it's slightly easier to look at your reserves and resources and what you'll invest in the metal energy years. And the tiger will be kind of quite courageous for you. But it doesn't mean you can use the courage to kind of get rid of things.
Yes. Yeah. You
can have your sovereignty. What has authority over me?
Yeah, you choose.
Do all these things that I don't care about own me, or do I own them, and what do I choose to do with them? So you can still clear. Yes. But if you don't clear, there will be some consequences to it, because if we have too much stuff, then we use too many of our resources and our reserves to deal with things.
Yeah, of course, I suppose, because you're going to be a little bit bogged down in that stuff rather than concentrating on what it is you really want to invest in next year.
Yeah. So I have a particular website that used to get 100,000, 200,000 views a month. It was a health-based website, and I'm emotionally attached to it because it's about. However, it uses up my resources and my reserves.
Of course, yeah.
And so, and it's not what I want my purpose to be about. That was a previous phase. So I'm going to just pull the plug on but that website's got all this. Yeah, but it's using up reserves and resources to keep it in place.
So top tip for anybody listening then is, we talked about the home, but also look at your work. I think I'm going to have a little spring clean and look at everything I'm doing, and, what are the things I really want to invest in, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And what I'll do is, I don't know where I'll give you a link to a YouTube video I've got about a desktop exercise. It's about how to work out what you want to get rid of and what you don't want to get rid of.
Okay, that's great.
For things in life. And we can put the link below this if that's helpful.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
And we can also, you've got that lovely workbook. We can put it in there as well.
Yes. So just to explain for our listeners, you're welcome to sign up to the free workbook, and we will have Nick's exercise that he has kindly given in that workbook. And then Nick and I are going to stop this recording, and we're going to record a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, which is going to go into the paid version of the energy bundle. So you're welcome to join us there. But Nick, before we do that, could you please let the audience know where they can find your incredible work?
Well, I'm usually sitting in this room with my slippers on. So you can find me here.
You've got trousers on. That's a first for you.
It's a first, absolutely. Aloise, I could have taken them off during the interview. Not guaranteed. I still got my trousers on. But anyway, you can go to Five Institute, Five Institute.com, and you can find the vitality test there. And that's the best place to kind of interact. I've also got my personal website, Haines.com, Haines.com. As Aloise knows, I'm not very big on Instagram and places like that, but I am on there.
Or on Facebook, and you're on Instagram.
And Facebook, yeah, and LinkedIn. Yeah.
But genuinely, guys, if you haven't heard of Nick before this interview, I would absolutely 100% recommend go and do the vitality test. Like, I'm not even taking the piss. It really did. I saw myself, and it was just life-changing and incredible. And I still, utilize the wisdom and energy in my teachings today. So thank you so much.
And it's free.
It's free. We like free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Nick. You know how much I love and adore you, and your wisdom is just more and more insightful every single day. So there's one bit of really juicy information that we forgot to give you in this wonderful podcast, so you haven't got rid of us. But as I said, Nicholas is infamous and famous for his insights into the new year, and you have a masterclass coming up, don't you, Nick, that people really need to be on?
So what I do is I run this content, and then I have one day I spend like 3 hours and I look at the whole of the context. I look at how it works for each energy type. So in a way, these things, I kind of give another layer down. And I also give away lots of prizes and gifts and surprises.
Do you? That's new.
I do.
Cool. Because I do that every year and I love it.
Yeah, yes. And so it's a kind of deep dive into the year. So I think if you've enjoyed this content, there are two places to go. One is the extra content we're going to do within Aloise's private. Then we've got that extra content. And then we've got my masterclass as well for you.
And what's the link for the masterclass, please?
If you just go to fiveinstitute.com and just go to events, you'll see it listed. It's listed there, and we
will put it below, won't we?
And we can put it below as well. Yeah,
fantastic. And I highly recommend. It's a fantastic thing to listen to. It really sets you up, as we said. And then what I tend to do is when I listen to that masterclass, is I tend to write the themes on a board or somewhere that I can't forget them.
Yeah. And then what you also get with the masterclass, you also get a recording of the energy waves for each month as it comes out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you get that as well. That's one of our surprises and prizes.
Fantastic. Nicholas, thank you so much. It's wonderful.
My pleasure.
Absolutely wonderful.
Okay, bye.
So what did you think to this interview? Hopefully you got some really good insights, and you really now understand how you can implement the energy of 2022 into your life. Ready? Please do sign up for our free energy workbook. The link is here. You can sign up for your free energy workbook, and inside the workbook are all of our experts giving you an exercise that you can do, that you can integrate and put into your life to make 2022 the best year yet. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. The interviews will be coming out from the 7th of January for the rest of January, all the way to the end of January. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel, like and share, and I really hope that you find a lot of value from the Energy 2022 forecast series.